So here's the stuff that I bought today, or I bought over the last couple of weeks to put this stuff together. First, I bought a simple HomeWorks outdoor antenna with a J-pole mount. This has, I believe, a 40-mile radius or 40-mile distance. All right, we're going to take a look at getting the front end of the RJ6 taken care of. I have a couple tools that I got from a neighbor. First is the RJ6. They indicate that this is best for HD signals, and so this is going to be a stripper. This is an RJ6 stripper, and then this is a crimper. And the crimper will actually help. As I look at one of these pieces out for you really quickly, I can do it. It will help crimp the end or the connector together and make sure it fits at the end of this piece. So I'm not going to show you how it's done. It's basically you put this on there, flip it around, put it on here, skewer it, it comes off, and it makes a perfect piece. Maybe I'll show it to you here in a second. And then we put it on and then crimp it down the end. All right, that is it for this one. I'll show you what the end piece looks like. I gotta say, this is what it actually looks like. Hopefully I can get this thing to come into focus. But this is what it looks like at the end. I used the crimper tool here. This is the piece that it came off in. It looks great. It's a much cleaner than what I had before, and allows me to put this piece on right here with minimal amount of things coming off the side. Okay, so sun's setting today and I'm now on the roof. I have most of my pieces that I need here. I've had to improvise a little bit, but what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put, if you could see this, the mount of my J mount of my antenna in, and it's going to be pointed in that direction. That is downtown Chicago. And so what I'll be doing is putting this J mount up and getting it up like this, and then attaching my antenna and pointing it in the direction of Chicago, and then I'll be attaching the coaxial cable and then running that into the basement. So that's our next part of this. I'm trying to get a direct shot without any interference like this chimney, so I put it down a little bit lower. I may end up putting out a little bit farther depending on what I think, so I can get the best angle or free line of sight, I guess, to Chicago. Okay, so I've installed the HD antenna on the top. I put it together and I bolted it down the J mount into the roof. I'm gonna have to put some sealant on top of that so it doesn't leak through, and then I threaded the cord through it just to have a little bit of extra just in case I need to move around the antenna. But now the antenna is hooked up. It's not as high as the roof. As you can see here, it's a little low. I wanted to reduce the profile. I wanted to be able to not get it blocked by the chimney, and I wanted still to be able to point toward Chicago, which it's doing right now. So I've threaded the RJ6, and now that is actually going off the side. I was going to go through the roof, but I decided just to go ahead for this, and I'm going to get down the side of the spout, and then I'm going to go through the basement at that point. So next you'll see me putting on the other end and connecting it to the amplifier so that we can get a signal. All right?
All right, so coming down from the roof, you can kind of see I threaded the RJ6 quad down behind my spout, and there's a couple different ways that I could have probably
put it into my house, but what I ended up doing is, if you can see that, there you go, I threaded it through the same cord as what my air conditioning unit is going through. I'll need to cover that up with silicone, but for the most part, that is how I got in. I did that to kind of minimize, because I have new siding in the back of my house, to minimize any more additions to the back of the house. All right, we're in the basement. We're almost done. What I ended up doing is I have this string right here, which is actually plugged in. It's not an actual, electrical plug-in, but it's powered through the cable itself. So once you put it in here into this amplifier, the green light goes on. And then from there, pretty much this line right here that you see, this is the one that came in from the outside. That's how I threaded it through. And in this case, there are different type of connectors that you have. They're all what's called F connectors. This one is the one that I put together, and I needed a crimper. This is a compression one, which takes a little bit more time and effort to put, but it's kind of nice. And then this one, just so you know, this F connector is just a screw-on, and so it actually worked out pretty well. So if you're not highly technical, I would say get the F connectors that are screw-on, and then use a pair of pliers to get it all the way in. So again, this is the power outlet, this is the input, and then I have basically 4 outputs. This one goes currently to my TV upstairs, this goes to the TV in my office. You can, if you want, continue to split this. My understanding is that the power amplifier will help, if you split down the line, which I'm planning on doing. But this currently is how it's working. So the last stop is the back of the TV and plugging it in and seeing if we get any channels. All right, so the last piece of this project is that in the back of this TV, and I'm not going to show it to you because it's kind of messy, is I threaded the other end of the coax cable to the back of this flat screen TV. Now remember, if you don't have a flat screen TV with a digital tuner built in, you're gonna have to buy one, and then that goes into your TV. But this one already has been put in. Once you do that, then you have to go through the settings and have it look for all the digital signals. Now, I'm lucky enough, last night I did this, and what I ended up doing is I found, once I put it in, I found that I had probably more than 50 digital channels coming in from the Chicagoland area. I have a Sony, so I'm going to do this, and it shows all the HD channels and all the other ones. Now, there are some repetitive, but you can't, as you can see here, the quality is really good, and I have no issues. So the project's done, and as you go through this, you can see how many different channels I have. Some are HD, some aren't, but overall, been pretty happy. Probably put about 6 hours into this. If I really knew what I was doing, and if I could have gotten the ends of the cables done quickly, it probably wouldn't have taken me more than 2 hours. So overall, I think I spent less than $60 and was able to cut my cable costs pretty much to zero for local channels. I hope this helps.